Hi, everybody, and welcome to Beyond Politics. Today, we're going to be speaking about a catastrophe that happened earlier this year that is of epic proportions. And it's probably the most significant event that's happened within the last few years, and it has devastating consequences of the populations involved. And this is something that could easily happen to any one of us in our communities. And, on this channel, we talk a lot about the issues between global government and local governments and national governments. And then our solution we propose is one that empowers citizens. And central to empowering citizens, we speak about the 5 basic needs for survival. Because if you can take care of your needs yourself, then no organization or entity can exert power over you. And those needs are air, water, food, shelter, and energy. And water is something that's been under threat a long time. In South Africa, it is no stranger to us. Polluted rivers, polluted oceans, mismanaged wastewater systems, and also the quality of our tap water declining as well, and the lack of building more water harvesting infrastructure.
Now, most people at this stage would think, I'm not interested in this nonsense, because most people think when water comes out of their taps that they are fine. But just imagine your local river in the area where you grew up, or your local dam, overnight dies. Everything in it dies. Literally dead. Well, this happened to a river, the main river in Zambia, where that river died overnight, and 60% of the population lives within that area and depends on the river for their survival. I grew up in Paarl, and the Berg River was a part of my life. I used to go there, swim, fish, all sorts of things. And imagine the Orange River and the Vaal River system in South Africa gets contaminated through mining from a different country.
Well, I think our water systems are atrocious. So as advanced as society is worldwide, as much as we are ready to jump onto AI technology and merge our consciousness with the collective AI, good, whatever, as advanced as we are technologically, whether we grow up in an informal settlement or live on the hill in Camps Bay, we have this massive elephant in the room, and that is how to deal with our waste. And it's something that we haven't been able to figure out. We all resort to, across the world, Europe included, resort to throwing our waste into water, into rivers, into lagoons, and into the ocean. And this, though, what's happening in Zambia is a little bit worse than that, because we're dealing with mining waste. So in South Africa, I think we already see parts of the Orange River that's completely contaminated. We've had ecologists state emphatically that it'll take more than our lifetime for our rivers to recover where there's specific water pollution, specifically from sewage, not from mining. But here in Zambia, at the what's it called again?
Kafui
River,
yeah.
we have Chinese-run mining operations, mining for copper. They had a dam that held 50 million liters of waste, acidic waste, highly acidic waste, and that dam broke. That dam broke, and all of that water fed into a stream that feeds into the main river in Zambia that provides water for over 5 million people. And then obviously also feeds into the entire economy of agriculture and fishing and all the rest. It is a catastrophe of epic proportions, like I said. And I know most people obviously not very much a big fan of worrying about the environment, because we think of our immediate needs, which usually revolve around consumerism, beautiful, glorious consumerism.
Making money for other companies.
However, if you don't think that this is an important topic, then I'm afraid you do not understand the very basics of human life. Without water, we're nothing. We're dead within 3 days, if that.
There's been many events in South Africa where tailing dams have broken, where towns have been flooded, etc. In this case, because it was highly acidic, the bird life, the fish life was killed overnight. Literally the next day, the river was dead. About 100 kilometers of the river.
Yeah, it's from a witness. Prior to the 18th of Feb. So this happened on my birthday. Very tragic. Prior to the 18th of Feb, this was a vibrant and alive river. And said Sean Cornelius, who lives near the Kafue, and said fish died and bird life near him disappeared almost immediately. Now everything is dead. It is like a totally dead river. Unbelievable. Overnight, this river died.
So just imagine the consequences of this. And the president actually said that we need people to come and help us.
Yeah, so if any of you are water experts or
they
ecological
need
experts,
desperate help.
let them know.
And you need lots of rain to wash that junk
Wow.
away. But already they believe it's contaminated underwater sources, etc.
Yeah, how far down the river? It was like 100 kilometers down the
100
river.
kilometers that died overnight.
So it's a right wide span.
But this is still going further down. So, I mean, the effects will be felt far and wide. And as I said earlier, 60 million people that depend on this river system for various things with regards to their daily lives.
And the acid leak at the mine caused a complete shutdown of the water supply to a nearby city of Kitwe, home to an estimated 700,000 people. So can you imagine that happening in your city? I know a lot of you have water shortages already, but this is different. This is next level. And the elephant in the room that the article is not really addressing is how a foreign entity can enter into your country and exploit your natural resources.
I wonder what the copper is being used for.
I wonder.
Wind turbines, etc.
And then there's, I don't know what
Electric
accountability there's going to
vehicles.
be, because at best the government can kick them out and cause tensions between countries, but that's not going to solve the problem. How is there going to be restitution here? How are we going to make sure that this country recovers from the lack of water, of a huge water source?
So the one thing they have done is they've deployed the Zambian Air Force to drop hundreds of tons of lime into the river to try and neutralize the acidic effect. The river and all that lived in it's already dead, okay? So, I mean, it's an extreme action to take. It's like almost post a nuclear accident cleanup or oil spill. That is the scale of what has happened. And I know in Paarl, we've had leakages from KWV where alcohol has actually gone into the river and fish died downstream for many kilometers. But that recovers over time. Having something like an acid going to a river is, like you say, next level. And especially that quantity. And when I heard about this, I thought, this is extremely important. And the first thing I said to Lauren, no one's going to care about this. Nobody will care. Because firstly, they'll say it's in Zambia. And the next thing, which is on the African continent, you should absolutely care about that.
Not too far
And the next thing is that a similar thing could happen here. We have huge problems with acidic water in mines rising to the surface. And have you heard of what's been done about that? And that water leaching into the underground water system. We are sitting on a ticking time bomb because of mining, because of many industries. If you don't deal with the consequences of those mining actions, things like this can happen. And Zambia will be affected for decades because of this.
If not longer. I'm no
Yeah.
ecological expert, but this sounds like an absolute disaster. I just want to read what was said here by some of the locals with regard to the miners, the Chinese mine company. They don't seem to have any concern at all, any regard at all. And I think it's really worrying because at the end of the day, we as Zambian people, it's the only land we have. And that is very sobering. This is the only earth we have. The people that cry climate change and green energy only care about money. There's actually no government, no organization, no corporation, no global organization that truly cares about the health of the earth in relationship to the people that need its abundance and resources. And that is very sobering. And I can see similar things happening here. If we're not careful, our water is already deeply polluted. I would love to know in the comments, who of you play water sports? And are you affected by water pollution in any way? I know we are here in Cape Town. We see the glorious picturesque photos of clear sparkling water, but quite frankly it can be quite slimy and gross and full of litter quite often. And then we know the lagoon and the Zikufle River. I drove past the Zikufle River the other night. It was a hot summer night. The stench emanating off that river, you can almost hear the stench buzzing in your ear. And the Milnerton Lagoon as well. There's been pollution problems forever, not because of mining, but it's an overall issue. The fact that we are not taking care of our water systems. how, I don't know where I read it, but a society can be judged by how it takes care of its rivers and its animals, and I truly believe that. China is the dominant player in copper mining in Zambia, a southern African nation which is among the world's top 10 producers of copper, a key component in smartphones and other technology.
Yes, they'll never mention the green energy market, you know, the wind turbines.
So
and
I'd say from about Al Gore trying to run for president till about a few years ago, the main until Greta Thunberg, she, I think, ironically killed the whole climate change green energy movement thing. People actually saw it for what it is after her. But for that long period of time, the environment was the top thing on people's lips. We learned about it at school. It was part of curriculum. It was part of educational programs, entertainment industry. It was always slipped in somewhere. In every documentary, it is slipped in. But now that the eye is on AI and developing the fourth industrial revolution technologies to control world populations, the environment is definitely taking a back seat in conversations between influential people. And the data centers, the water data centers used for cooling, the energy required,
the copper,
the infrastructure,
else,
the metals, everything that's required for this AI
amount of
life,
power,
for this fourth industrial revolution life that we're going to be living, that is just being swept under the rug. No one really wants to talk about the environmental impact of the fourth industrial revolution, as well as the impact on populations and how that's going to affect our ability to survive outside a system we don't want to be in.
And if you care about this, you can get a link to this. You'll find a link to this article in the description below this video, as well as the first comment. Tell us in the comments how you feel. Do you actually care about environmental disasters like this? Does it matter to you? If it doesn't matter to you, please tell us so we can understand why you think it's not important. Because I can tell you now that we've had videos recently that got tens of thousands of views, and I don't even think this video is going to get 5,000 views unless you share it with people. You share this article with people. Talk to people about it, because you should care. Imagine our Orange River system, which runs through the entire country practically, gets polluted like this. And it's absolutely possible. What would happen to this country?
Yes, and I think a big thing that we need to make a talking point is not allowing foreign companies and other countries to destroy us. And it's up to the citizens to get involved politically in many different ways. We've spoken about all the different ways you can do so, but make your voices heard. Don't just sit back and let things happen to this beautiful country that we have. We need to preserve everything. But something like this river dying in Zambia, even though it's not in South Africa, it's still on our continent, like you said, it's still going to have ripple effects later. And this is just going to keep happening because no one really cares. It's up to each of us individually to make a difference and to do something.
And on this channel, Beyond Politics, we will speak about topics like this. The things that aren't popular, that actually matter, because other people are doing what is popular. They actually do searches to see what are people consuming, like pigs at the trough on the social media platforms. And that is what they actually do content on. We do content on what we believe will affect your future, and we would like you to be empowered to be as self-reliant as possible, so that if something like this should happen, heaven forbid, that you can survive. And we will do follow-ups on this to see how the people actually deal with this. Like I said, they were throwing hundreds of tons of lime into a river. Can you imagine that? With the Air Force and everything else that will happen subsequently. This is a catastrophe. And like I said, please leave a comment.
And go to our website, Beyond Politics, and sign up for citizen empowerment training. Water is a big topic there. And you'll understand why if you do the training. Because I asked earlier, who here does engages in water sports? Many of us, I'm sure, do. But I can tell you, everyone engages in drinking water every day.
Every person.
Or you should be. So this is extremely important. Thank you so much for watching. And also sign up to our newsletter as well. We'll keep you updated with all things to do with empowering individuals to overcome government control.